it's Jay with 1791 Actual. Welcome back. Glad you decided to stop in for a few minutes. Hope you find something interesting here. If you like the content, if you like this type of content and you like the channel, I appreciate it if you do like and subscribe and share with your friends. Pass it along if you think that there's something here that your friends might like. Anyway, tonight it's Sunday, kind of a Sunday gun day, cleaning day again, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. This is a SIG Sauer SP2022, and a lot of people immediately think, oh, it's a 22. No, it is a 9mm. So let's get started. Magazine is empty. And as is the pistol, nothing inside. Keep all the safety Sallys and Nancys happy. So we're going to talk about the 2022, as I call it. This is actually an early foray. You may have heard of the SIG Sauer P320, which is a polymer frame striker fired. And its parent model, the P250, which I've got a video out there on it, where it was actually a striker fired, double action only, and with a polymer grip frame and a fire control unit, or FCU, that is serialized and fits into that grip frame. You can change slides and grip frames around that single unit. Anyway, a lot of people think that was SIG's first foray into what some of us like to call the tactical Tupperware, or the polymer grip frame. It's not quite true. An earlier version was the 2022. Originally, this was known as the SIG Pro, and also as the SIG 2009. The 2009, it was originally the SIG Pro and then became the 2009, and then they got a contract for this firearm with, I believe it was the Swiss, to make military and police firearms, long arm, or not long arm, sidearms, and but they wanted something a little bit lighter weight, so they started doing the polymer grip frame instead of the full steel frame. And we'll see how the internals work on this here in a couple minutes. The reason that they call it the 2022 was the fact that the 2009, that contract with the Swiss was to go out until 2022, just a couple of years ago. So it became the SIG Sauer P022, or the SP SIG Pro 2022. Kind of going along I guess the lines of how Glock does their naming, and basically nothing really means anything to anybody except Glock fans or the company. So this one, again, it's very, very much like a normal SIG, in the fact that it is single action, double action, which means on the initial pull, and you saw that this is empty, and I'm pointing this at the desk, so there's nothing going to happen here, okay? But on the first trigger pull, you can see it pulls the hammer back until it disengages and fires, at which point the slide will cycle, and now it remains cocked. So I bring my finger out just a little bit. There's my reset. I can feel it and hear it. And there's a little bit of creep back and a very short break point. So there you go. Double action, single action. Since it is double action and it has a very heavy double action trigger pull, there is no external safety. Doesn't need one. The safety is in the fact that you're keeping your finger, or as they call it, you keep your booger hook off the bang button. But keep your finger off of that. I tend to not even, a lot of people reach up along the side of the trigger guard. I actually go up on the side of the frame. I've got it so that I know where my finger is. It's not going to slip in there. It's gonna give me good purchase, but I can get down and on action very quickly. So now let's talk about how you take this down. Most SIGs, before we do that, put the mag in. Okay, the mag release is right here on the side. This one drops free very nicely. You've got your decocker and your slide release. So when it's cocked, as SIG is known for, this decocking lever. We push down on that, reach around the side, and watch that handle. It drops, and it drops safely. It will not, because it cannot go far enough forward to fire the round. It's not contacting in any way that firing pin, so it's not going to fire. That way, if you have it cocked, if you fired and you have one in the chamber and you need to decock it, all you have to do, let's switch cameras here, all you have to do is put your thumb right here and it decocks, nice and soft. Okay, so also with most SIGs, there's a takedown lever out here, and a slide release back here. With this, they went with something kind of a variant, I guess, on a 1911, in the fact that your takedown and your slide release, and yes, I call it a slide release because that's what you do. You push it down and it releases the slide. No, it doesn't wear out. A lot of guys will tell you, oh, that'll wear it out. No, it won't. So, when you're cocked, it's locked back. Actually, here, let's go this way. I'm on an empty mag. I lock back. I put a loaded mag in, and right here, hit it with my thumb, closes the slide, puts a round into battery, and has my hammer cocked. And at that point, I'm ready to go back to work. Okay, so it's also the takedown. Now, this is something about the 2022 that I'm not really much of a fan of. And by the way, the 2022 was my introduction to the world of SIG, and I've become a SIGness since then. But I picked this up used. I had never fired it, and was going to get my my concealed carry qualification, and I wanted to use this. So I went to the range where we were going to do our shoot. I got there early, hung up a paper plate, and at about 10 yards, within one magazine, I was able to eat the center out of that 9-inch paper plate at 10 yards. I was pretty confident, that I was going to be able to pass my qual. So I immediately fell in love with this pistol. Kind of fell in love with SIG in general. The only couple of SIGs that I got that I'm not as much of a fan of is the 320. It's not that much of a striker fire fan. And the 365. Again, I'm not that much of a striker fire fan. And they're okay, but they're in a good old-fashioned double action, single action, semi-auto, and automatic. So let's talk about how you take this guy down. He said he doesn't have takedown lever out here in front.
This paper I'm going to is here, and the other side of it literally is a cut on this back side. And for somebody like me with arthritis, this button is actually a hard to press. So we're going to reach over here to our filling station. I want to see this before. I do my 3D printing thing, and here the printers in the background. There's my cleaning station. I'm going to get a couple of changes in, add a couple of things, add some polished to get down in the crevices, real tight. Some soft clamping tongs for grabbing out my patches, and some locking tongs. It's come in handy too, you grab something and slide that lock bar forward, and gives you a nice little tool. But anyway, as far as taking this down, all you need a little screwdriver, because my thumbs just won't take trying to take this apart. So, to get this apart, first we're going to check and make sure it's empty. It is. We've already seen that. And you'll notice there's a notch right here, right above that pin. And in order to take this down, it's not quite aligned. So I have to slide it back until it releases, and it lines up. This is where I got to have the screwdriver. I get it lined up, take my screwdriver, come around here,
if I can keep it lined up while I press, there it is. Now I can pull it back and pull that out. Now you can see why, from a takedown perspective, this is not my favorite SIG. So, now that we've got that out, our slide comes off the front. Now most of my SIGs have got a full-length rail system. This actually has just the rails right here and right back here. More like how how other polymer frame pistols go. Now you can see how filthy this is. I actually haven't cleaned this for quite a while. It's got a lot of rounds through it. And last time I cleaned it, I actually made a mistake of lubing with white lithium grease, and I got too much on there. So she's a little bit gummy. So we've got our little cleaning tray and with our parts tray in front of it. So now we're going to remove the recoil spring and guide rod system. And one of the things that's really nice about this is that it has a flat spring. The flat springs actually last a whole lot longer. And this particular one has I upgraded it right away to a solid guide rod. Take the barrel out, slip it forward so that it comes out of the locking lug. Pull that out. And this is actually a 9mm, and as you see, it's a 9mm para. In other words, 9mm parabellum. Same thing as 9mm Luger, or just when you say 9mm, that's what you're thinking of. Also more correctly referred to as a 9x19. You've heard me mention that before probably, that there's a 9x19, which is the 9mm Luger. There is the 9x18, which is commonly referred to as the 9mm Makarov, because it is specific. It's actually specific to the Makarov pistol or Makarov pistol design. So then there's the 9x17. Anybody guess what a 9x17 is? 9x17 is what here in the U.S. we refer to as 380 ACP. They're all basically 9mm, just different lengths, different powers. So let's get along with our cleaning. I'm going to grab my glasses here, and we'll take that camera back up. Switch out to this guy. So let's start with the barrel. So I clean with mineral spirits. For the growing up, I grew up on Hoppies number 9, and love the smell of Hoppies. You know, nowadays we've got CLP, we've got a dozen different brands of CLP, which is a cleaner or lubricant and protectant all in one. It's okay, but it can get expensive. You've heard me mention before a channel called Gun Blue. I think he's actually Gun Blue 486 or 420, something like that. Anyway, I learned something from him about cleaning and cleaning chemicals, and the fact that mineral spirits does exactly what Hoppies will do. Hoppies is just mineral spirits with a little scent added to it. And for the price of a 4-ounce bottle of Hoppies, I got a gallon of mineral spirits on Amazon. Works perfectly. Along that same line, I lubricate with mineral oil. We're going to talk more about lubrication here in a few minutes, but Hoppies lubricant. It's just mineral oil, and again, for the price of a single bottle of Hoppies lubricant, I got a gallon of mineral oil on Amazon. And that gallon of mineral oil is probably going to outlive me. Mineral spirits, I use a little bit more. So let's start off. Let's go ahead and put a little spritz of mineral spirits down the barrel. And back here, I'm going to lay him right there to let him ruminate a little bit. And we'll go ahead and spritz inside the slide. Let that cook up a little bit. And we're going to give a little spritzing down here, because we're going to have to do a really, really thorough cleaning job on this guy. Looks like my spray top is having a little issue. So I'll just grab a piece of this blue shop rag. I use these blue shop rags a lot. You can also very effectively very effectively use paper towels. My main cleaning patch is old white t-shirt. 100% cotton though. You want to make sure you've got the good cotton t-shirts. No polymer or what do you call it? Polyester or any of that or any of that business going on in there. Spritz a little bit of that. Now you see that I got these locking tongs. Very good for getting down into small areas and into deep areas. You can actually get up in get up inside your mag well very easily with it. Boy, that is cruddy up in there. Getting into a slightly smaller area, we use these. Take a locking tong. It tends to reach down into smaller areas a little bit easier. It's a little bit narrower. A lot of guys use makeup sticks or Q-tips. I don't really care for Q-tips. Main reason being, Q-tips shred. Now, those little makeup swabs, they tend to not shred very much, but still, good old-fashioned white t-shirts. White cotton t-shirt. Buddy, that's old school. Old school way to clean your firearm. Alright, that looks really, really good. I am going to take these angled ones, tight angled, get into really small, tight crevices. Alright. And lastly, go back to our main tongs. One more white down in there. And looking at that, we appear to be gunk free. Now, our slide has had plenty of time to ruminate, cook some of that garbage off. Basically what I'm going to do here is make my own version of a real long Q-tip. Wad that up a little bit better. Get down in these rails. Now to get into the rails, it's time to get out the brush. I want to make sure those rails are good and clean. I thought at one point that white lithium grease would be a good idea. High temperature, very slick. Well, I decided that that really wasn't all that great of an idea. Primarily because what you end up with is lint and dust and grime gets captured in that grease, and you end up with a nasty gummed up mess. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. Basically just kind of hanging out, doing some things. I don't do a lot of post-recording editing or any of that kind of stuff. Just things go as they go. This is real life kind of thing. That way, you know, mistakes can be made, and when I do, which I do make mistakes, I forget things or do things kind of out of order or whatever. But when I do, you're going to see it. And when you see me make mistakes, hopefully you will learn a little something. And it will help you to not make that same mistake yourself. Get down in all these little crevices. Actually, I've got some picks over here. We're getting down in those small areas. Really small areas. When we're talking about small area, if you look down in this crevice right in here, kind of hard to get down in there with pretty much anything. So I've snatched up from Harbor Freight some of these, they're essentially dental tool picks. So you can get down in there and make sure everything's nice and clean. They also come in handy if you have fouling or crud that needs removed. Easy way to get to it. Now, something you don't want to do is spritz down into that hole. That is your firing pin hole on your breech face. You really don't want to be spraying anything down in there because, like I said, just like with the lithium grease, moisture collects crud. And if you get crud down in that firing pin chamber, guess what happens? Your firing pin can't move. Okay, we're going to give the spritz a little mineral spirits on a piece of patch. Wipe down our guide rod, and I will go ahead and wipe down our takedown lever / mag release, or not mag release, but slide release. And with just another little spritz on there, actually slip that between into our spring, and then twisty, 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 and we clean our springs. Why in the world do you clean your spring? Well, you know, spring is a place where you can get buildup. No, it's not gonna affect the action or capability of the spring, but it's a place to collect material that can find its way migrating to other areas of my firearm. All right, so let's go to another patch. Grab another patch out of here, my little patch band there, and we'll grab us a bore light. Take a look in that bore, and you can see down that bore. It's a little bit cruddy, and if you look right in here, there's some snot up on there, so. This, I'm going to grab our brass cleaning brush. I don't know if it's brass or bronze. I think it's brass. And run him through there a few times. Put a couple of things get out of our way here. As you can tell, this is not the first rodeo for this piece of blue shop towel material. They last like crazy. Grab us a patch, slip down in there. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a jag. That's not the rod that I needed. Oh shoot, that's not the rod that I needed either. Here we go. It actually had an adapter coupling on it. Didn't need. And we put the corner of the patch. Through there, go through a little bit. I like these. These are actually from an M16, old M16 style military cleaning kit from Otis back in the day. And these rods, there's the base handle, and it spins freely. So if you're going down a rifled bore and you just hold that T, the rod will actually rotate as it goes in and out of that barrel. And it's got 3 additional rods. They normally come with the handle section, and the 3 extra rods. The handle folds down and gets down out of the way, so it's nice and streamlined. But you can actually clean a full 20-inch barreled rifle barrel with it. Okay, so let's take another look down here. Oh, look how nice that is. These are actually Hoppy's bore lights that I got off Amazon. Caught them cheap, so I bought several of them. Put a couple of them in my range bags. And looks like we're coming out pretty clean on our patch. So I think it's time to disassemble this. Put a couple of these things away. And now it's lubrication time. Okay. Lubrication is the other thing that I picked up a while back from the boy on Gun Blue. I know I talk about his channel. He doesn't know me from Adam. I've been watching his channel for a long time, and he doesn't know me from Adam, so there's no connection there. You know, I'm not touting him, other than the fact that I do recommend you go check out his channel, because it's a great channel. You know, Gun Blue, of course, Hickok 45. You know, you gotta have some Hickok 45, and but one of the things that I learned from Gun Blue is about lubrication. And we tend to over-lubricate. If you look on your firearm, you will see where contact is and isn't being made. So on this surface, there's a little bit of contact here. There's a little more contact back right in here. And on this surface, look at your slide, you'll see contact mark right in this area. You see a little bit of contact marks down here in the rails. And on this surface of this rail, out to here, and then it lessens. But this is where it's contacting the rear rail surfaces. Okay? So, that's all it really needs lubricating. And oil, any kind of oil, will migrate. It will find its way into places you don't want it to be. It will also find its way into leaking out into your pocket or your clothing or your holster. You don't want that. So, you take a drop, and we're going to touch that same drop on all of these contact surfaces, and then rub it, spread it. And as you spread it and rub it, it's going to look like there's less and less and less. And there is, because that's all it needs. It only needs a micron thin layer of lubrication. Don't over lubricate. Same thing here, that same finger. I can run my finger with that same little bit of lubrication and my thumb where I've picked up a little bit of that lube, and see how that's lubricated? That's just overwipe from touching those rails. And I'm going to rub right there. You'll notice that there's also bearing contact down in this area. So Where does that come from? It comes from the barrel. And if you look at the barrel, now you see a lot of contact surfaces. So what we do there is one more small, very small drop on the barrel. Just grab that barrel, wipe all around. And that's it. So, we're good to go. Now, time to reassemble. The reassembly, pretty simple. We're going to drop our barrel in. And I always like to listen. You know how split that is. That's as the old timers say, like grease through a goose. So I'm going to put my recoil spring back on the guide rod. I tend to do it pointed toward me. Put that down into the pocket. Pull it back. Now this one is one of the really neat things about this SIG is there's a little hole right there. And there's a detent on the end of there. So when you bring this back, drop it in there, it locks in place. Really, really nice lockup. So now, you're going to put that on there, slide it back, and this is where it gets interesting again. So, make sure that your slide is fully on, neutral position. Go ahead and start that rod. And you can get it most of the way down through there. Slide it back until those align. Press it in, you'll hear it snap in place. Let the slide go forward. Function check. Everything's working fine. Grab a cloth here. Now wipe down the outside. And yeah, by the way, mineral spirits and mineral oil will not harm a polymer grip frame. Don't let anybody tell you it can. You'll hear horror stories on the internet sometimes about different solvents. Well, you can't use that solvent if you got a polymer. Yeah, no. Mineral spirits doesn't bother it. You also hear people talk about, oh, don't use that on if you got wood furniture on your gun. Well, guess what? Mineral oil is exactly what has been used for generations to treat wood. So, mineral spirits and mineral oil, you'll hear me tout that just about every video that I make where I'm cleaning the fire alarm. You're going to hear me talk about mineral spirits and mineral oil and how much of an improvement they are over anything else. Now, one thing that I did not function check yet, I probably give a quick wipe down with my little piece of shop towel. Give a quick wipe down to the outside of my mag. I don't break my mags down and clean them very often, maybe once a year. But pop that in, and even with right there, hit my button, and it jumps right out. And cock it, locks back. It's part of my function check. And this, I can actually close this on an empty magazine. So, there you have it, and there you are. Folks, the, as I tend to call them, the venerable SP2022 by SIG Sauer. These were, at one point in time, they used to be referred to as the poor man's 226, because they're very similar in size and design. And if you couldn't afford a 226 or a 228, the SIG Pro, the SP2009, SP2022, or as I call it, my first SIG. Folks, thanks for stopping by. Hope you found something interesting about all this mess. And again, as always, thanks. I appreciate my followers, my audience. And if you like this, hit the like bell, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. It'll let you know anytime new content goes up. The channel is kind of growing. I've got a couple of friends that have been really sharing the heck out, and getting some new subscribers. Welcome to you new subscribers. Welcome, especially if this is your first time here. Just hope you'll come back. Hope you found something interesting. And as always, God bless and see you on the other side.